today's a very important day. That's because today marks 25 years since Princess Diana's death. But before we get the inside scoop from Steph, let's take a look back at Diana's remarkable life.
There was so much attention on me when I first arrived on the scene, and I had so many people watching me.
Before becoming the People's Princess, she was a 19-year-old nanny on the path to be queen. An astonishing 750 million people in 74 countries watch her walk down the aisle.
You're not worried about that 3.5-minute walk?
No, I go along with everybody else.
She becomes the pillar of both beauty and kindness.
The lead up to Princess Diana coming was, will she or won't she wear gloves? And she didn't.
Teaching her young sons to lead with their heart.
It was that love that even if she was on the other side of a room, that you, as a son, you could feel it.
But after 15 years of marriage, the royal couple separates. The press hounds her every move.
I was not aware of how overwhelming that attention would become, nor the extent to which it would affect both my public duties and my personal life.
Then, in 1997, the world watches as the unthinkable happens.
We interrupt this film to tell you we are getting reports that Diana, Princess of Wales, has been badly injured in a car crash in France.
Devastation sweeps the globe. It's been 25 years since Princess Diana's death, but for some, it's a wound that will never heal.
I do regularly put in George or Charlotte to bed, talk about her, and just try and remind her that there are two grandmothers. There were two grandmothers in their lives.
Yeah, I have no doubt that my mum would be incredibly proud of me. I'm living the life that she wanted to live for herself, living the life that she wanted us to be able to live.
Goodbye, England's rose. May you ever grow in our hearts. You were the grace that placed yourselves where lives were torn apart.
Oh my gosh. Just think of her as a mom, or a mum, as you would say. What was it like when Princess Diana died in England 25 years ago, and what were the days like following that?
Well, first of all, I just want to make sure you guys are okay, because I can see you're all welling up. I'm like, are you guys okay?
And you see two young kids losing their mom early, like at the end of the day.
Absolutely, and I think that's what resonated with most people, whether you were British or whether you're here in America. Like, she was only 36 years old. Think about that, so young, leaving behind two young boys that are not in the normal everyday household. They're very much in the public eye, living their lives on full display, no privacy for mourning, having to obviously follow their mum's funeral car. You can't imagine it. But I just remember it being horrendously sad. Everybody was crying as if it was their mother, their auntie, their sister. It was really devastating news that shocked not only England, but obviously rippled all the way to America and other parts of the Commonwealth too, you know? And
what about the days after? Do you remember like talking to family members, or like what was like almost like the ambiance out in the streets?
Everyone was genuinely
Steph, I wonder, like, what did your parents do? Like, what were they?
I think my mum was I think everyone was just more shocked, because you've got to think, this was a princess. How did this happen to a princess? Someone untouchable in everyday life, so to speak. You know, you see these figures on television, but this isn't just a celebrity. This is a member of the royal family. Well, she obviously wasn't a royal at the time, but she was still the Princess of Wales. So it's almost shocking, like, how could this happen to her? Someone, like I said, untouchable, whose life they're living in palaces, they're traveling all over the world. How can this happen to them? So utter disbelief, to be honest.
I wanted to ask you about today in England. How are people celebrating, mourning, dealing? What is it like today in England 25 years later?
Yeah, so people still will go to Kensington Palace and they will leave out wreaths, they'll leave flowers, they'll leave artwork, and they'll also do that in Paris at the site in which Diana passed away too. At the tunnel, yes, exactly, Tori. So, but what you need to remember is this is coming from let's say, fans or the general public. This is not coming from the royal family. So the royal family 5 years ago said that they were going to mourn Diana now in private after the 20-year anniversary. And I think, in all honesty, that's fair for William and Harry, because to go through that publicly over and over again, it must be really traumatic, really traumatic.
And as Americans, we were always told that Diana changed the monarchy. But we've seen recent events that maybe says it didn't change that much. What do you feel about it?
So I honestly think I'm so proud to be British, and I'm very proud of the royal family. What they've done for charities, for the Commonwealth, it's absolutely unbelievable. And they live a life of service to another level, where their personalities and their private thoughts and feelings are behind the door, and you see this perfectly poised, put together person that doesn't show emotion, that is the backbone of the country, that people look to for leadership. And I think that Diana definitely broke that mold when her and Charles separated. She wanted a voice, and she definitely gave it to the public. She gave an insider look at a time where we didn't have social media, you know, and she started giving open interviews to different paparazzi, to different news outlets, which, I mean, unfortunately led to, I think, that barrier then blurred from someone untouchable to I have access to you, to the point where the paparazzi literally chased her to her death. So it's very sad.
Steph, what you said to me one time that you said that you thought that Diana was going to eventually move to the U.S. And
is that true?
Well, you said you thought that. It was rumor. And so, like, let's say that things were different and she did actually move to the U.S. Do you think that would have made it easier for Meghan's transition?
You know, possibly, but I think definitely Diana and Harry and Meghan are of the same ilk, in the sense that they don't fit into that form of a lifestyle, which, like I said, we have a lot of freedom that they simply, as royal members of the family, do not have. And I think that's something that we need to really remember. These aren't the Kardashians that are putting their life on full display, the good, the bad and the ugly. It's a completely different world with completely different levels of respect and responsibility.
Sacrifice,
And it really is a sacrifice. And obviously, unless you're willing to live that lifestyle, which is a huge sacrifice, and like Meghan and Harry, they chose to leave. And I think Diana wanted to leave. And, you know, I don't think the royal family liked that. It's a bit of a disgrace, let's be honest. And I think, yeah, she probably did want to move away. And would that have made it easier? Most likely, yes. Wow.